Do you have advice on how we can make honest and sincere supplications if we experience burnout during the last 10 nights by focusing on Quran and prayer?
Mm. So I'm a little bit unclear about the question. So is the burnout, it's just general burnout, or let me see.
I believe general burnout.
Um, yes. So how do we, I mean, it just kind of depends where the burnout comes from. But I would say this in general. How to make them sincere is to first of all know that who you're supplicating to, right? I mean, we have to think about, really understand that we're asking the Creator, the one in whose power is all things, to give us what we need and what is good for us, and that no one else can. And if we keep reminding of who we're asking, I think that makes it sincere. And a dua and a supplication, it can be in any language. It can be in your own words. When you run out of words, go back and pick up a book of du'as, and you can read those du'as. But then you can ask for anything. Just speak it out loud. Sometimes maybe if it's in your mind, sometimes it might become a little confused or unclear. But if you speak it out loud, then it might become more clear to you what you really are asking for. And I would say that one of the ways to make it truly sincere, and to be of benefit, is to follow this teaching of the Prophet Muhammad, that we make dua for others. And, I earlier used this phrase, circles of community. This is one of the ways that we can never run out, really, of people to make dua for, is to constantly expand our circle. I mean, you begin with yourself and your family. You're thinking of the people around you. We're thinking of the people who are most in our minds right now. But go back. Try to pull from your mind the people you forgot. Try to pull from your mind the people who you used to run into. Just slowly start expanding that circle through geographical space in the time we're in now, and also over time periods. Go back and think. And then also you might be able to, at that point, use it as a form of correction for yourself, because you might remember, oh, I didn't do such a great thing at that time, or maybe I said something that hurt them. So it also gives us that other opportunity to ask for forgiveness, maybe for something that we really have not held ourselves to account for. And that is a way to constantly be sincere, I hope, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Off of that, Dr. Mattson, can you make dua in your own language, not Arabic, only in sujood or in the sitting before taslim, or can you also make dua in your own language when making dua while standing during witr? Like, what are the guidelines around that, especially for our new brothers and sisters who are just learning about Islam and are getting acquainted with the Arabic language, and even for some of us who know how to read the Quran, right?
Mm-hmm.
And trying every day to perfect and do better. But at the same time, it is not the mother tongue where our passion are when we are making dua, our earnest dua. It's not as easy to make it in Arabic as it is for me in Bangla or for me in English. What would you say in terms of that?
Yeah. I mean, you can keep praying and supplicating in whatever language. Okay. Even so even if someone is, I mean, this is a very early question that was asked when Muslims who weren't Arabic speakers first came into Islam. And I mean, immediately, like after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, at that time you had a lot of Persian speakers, for example, who they found it hard. It took them a long time to actually learn the Arabic for the Quran, like Al-Fatiha and some other surahs. And until they were able to learn that, they were able to even like say the translation of the Quran in Persian until they learned the Arabic. So so for dua is even more so. And there's not a restriction in that way of if you're praying for yourself, then say whatever you mean and say it in the language that will carry that meaning. It's different if you're, it might be different if you're leading the congregation in prayer, and there are the different positions on this as there are in like the Juma khutbah, whether it can be Arabic or English. But no, speak, from your heart. And Muslims have always done that. And that's why there's so many beautiful du'as, there are beautiful poems, there are so many beautiful expressions of longing and hope and beseeching Allah in every single language, whether it's Urdu or Kiswahili or Turkish or any language. And English is it can be as beautiful as any other language. Spanish, French, go for it.
Alhamdulillah, that calms my heart. And it was a question that we actually received a few nights ago. We couldn't get to during our earlier sessions. So Jazakumullah khairan for answering that. I'm going to turn the tables a little bit and make it a little bit more technical. How much is the fidya? Is it a requirement to feed a certain number of people at a certain price per person per day? Like, are there specific calculations into that?
Yeah, you should ask your local ulama, because the amount, what will buy. So the idea is to feed a person for a day, and feeding a person is 2 meals, or you can think about it, one person or 2 people, 1 meal. So that's the amount, and that's going to differ depending on the country that you're in, the food price. Inflation has afflicted everyone in the world. And so when people make those calculations, they try to put it at the minimum. Okay. So I've seen in Canada, for example, I've seen some say it's $10, that's 10 Canadian dollars, and some say it's $15. So, that's actually quite a big gap. If you're able to, I would go with a higher amount, because it seems like, with how things are, it seems high. But if there is, a legitimate group who have made that calculation for your area, you can go with the minimum. And if you're able to, you could, top it up a little bit, just to be generous.
That's really helpful. And the last question, this was an anonymous one. Assalamu alaikum, I'm assuming the sister to you. I missed fasting in junior high and high school during my menstrual cycle, approximately 42 days. I am not sure if I made those fasts up. Do I need to make up those fasts up or pay fidya?
Yeah. So, I'm not going to give fatwas here, but I'll just say that, there's some variation among things. The first issue is about certainty. So you go on the basis of what you know. So if if you're more confident that you made it up than not, then you go by that. Like, if your probability. So it's not just like, oh, I'm pretty sure I did, but maybe I didn't, because doubt doesn't remove certainty. So we act on the basis of what we know. But if really you have no idea if you did or not, although I would think, with having actually calculated, I mean, the sister saying the actual number of days, sounds like she's pretty sure, actually, of what happened there. So so the understanding is that we still should try, if we're able, to make up those days. If it's a long time ago, I mean, it's one or the other. It's either fidya or making up the fast. but if a person is really thinks they won't be able to, and maybe other things interfered with it, then maybe at this point they should pay fidya, and at least to be have a kind of, it's not really safety because it has to be one or the other. So I think that she really has to make a decision on whether she actually missed those days, and try to make them up if possible. And if not, then go for the fidya and ask for Allah to accept it, and ask Allah for forgiveness if this isn't sufficient. Take all of the benefits of this month of Ramadan, forgiveness for what we failed in the past, and move forward. I think the key thing is sometimes, and this happens with a lot of women when they say they've had multiple pregnancies, and so have had to miss a lot of time. Sometimes it becomes a real weight after a time, and I do think that maybe it requires some individual conversation, maybe with a female scholar, just to talk more about your own circumstances, because there is a somewhat subjective element to it, or at least there's many factors that could be involved. So if you really are struggling with this, I would find a female scholar to just discuss your own situation with.
Dr. Ingrid, we are on that time, right? Ooh, give me 1 second. I'm looking to
I see Sister Jasmine's question there. Is it still a great reward reading the Quran when I'm reciting in Arabic and reading it in English at the same time? Yes, seeking knowledge. So reading in English is to be able to know, to understand the Quran, and seeking knowledge is always rewarded. So that's a beautiful way. I mean, some people, because they just want to finish the juz, maybe they don't have a lot of time, they'll read the Arabic but not understand that much. But if you have the time to actually go and read an interpretation or understanding of the meaning, whatever language that is, even a lot of Arabs, they may read and not even understand some of the more special Quranic words or phrases. So if you can add to your recitation and read along, then that's beautiful.
The second to last Jummah of Ramadan. May Allah reward you immensely. Do you mind doing a dua for all of us before we let you go? All right.
Yeah. Subhanakallah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Al-Aziz, Ya Al-Mulk, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Oh Allah, please accept this community of Celebrate Mercy. Accept all of those who have gathered here today, who have gathered for the sake of learning and of wanting to come close to you and to come close to your blessed community. Ya Allah, accept their efforts of showing up and being here today. Ya Allah, accept all of their efforts during the month of Ramadan, all of their fasting, all of their worship, everything they have done to try to learn and understand, to become close to you and to follow in the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your messenger. Ya Allah, we ask you to accept everything from them. Ya Allah, increase our knowledge, increase our strength, our ability to worship you, to engage in good actions, sharpen our minds so we can understand what we need to do. Ya Allah, put love and mercy among us as a community so that we can fulfill our obligations towards you that you have asked us to do, to work together as believing men and women, to uplift all of the beautiful parts of this religion and bring it to others, and fulfill all of our obligations towards those in your community of believers, as well as all of your creation who are around us. Ya Allah, we ask you to stop the hands and seize the hands of those who are committing oppression, of those who are committing harm. Ya Allah, we ask your mercy for openings. We ask Allah for your openings during this time. Open the roads for the food for the people of Gaza. Open all of the avenues for healing and for peace. and for safety for all of those Muslims who are there and all of the Muslims around the world who are in a place of great constriction. Ya Allah, give them openings and give us openings in our heart and our mind towards you during these days, so we can feel and really understand your mercy and be able to reflect that mercy to others. Ya Allah, bless this community, bless all of us to continue to seek your blessing, your mercy, to understand your religion. Bless this community of Celebrate Mercy. Let bring to Celebrate Mercy all of what it needs to continue to provide this service to others. Ya Allah, heal those of us who are suffering. Ya Allah, comfort those of us who are lonely. Ya Allah, give courage to those who are in a place of fear. Ya Allah, forgive the believers who returned to you before us. Forgive all of our dead, comfort the living, and guide the rest of us, and send peace and blessings upon your chosen one, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, we ask you, knowing that you are Ar-Rahameen, and we ask you to guide us to be seeking your presence on Laylatul Qadr during this last 10 days of your blessed month of Ramadan. Ya Allah, we ask this. You are the most merciful. Ya Allah, we seek your mercy and your protection. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.
One quick thing. I actually work at Drexel University with the Drexel Muslim Student Association, and there's over 300 of the students in that organization, and I serve as the advisor. And sometimes I get these questions, and now I'm like, no, you could just go ask Dr. Mattson on Friday Gems. She answers your questions.
Ya Allah. Okay, let's not get some fitna happening here, sister.
Like, have a blessed Friday.
Inshallah, you too as well. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.